Days of Our Lives Friday, October 11 recap. Xander threatens Rachel's hijacking. Fiona menaces Sophia. Mark crashes Chad's marriage, fake Avi exposed, and Fiona pushes Sarah downstairs. Greetings to all Days of Our Lives fans. Don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates. Days of Our Lives spoilers recap for Friday, October 11, reveals that Holly Jonas spoke to Maggie Kyriakis over the phone ahead of her Paris cafe meeting with Nicole Walker. Maggie disconnected and turned her attention to Tate Black, who offered updates on the reasons for his bifurcation with Holly. Once Maggie set about Holly slighted Sophia Choi, she suggested Holly must have been provoked. Maggie also wondered just how good of a friend Sophia was to Tate and asked if the passions between them were collective. Tate took off without answering since Maggie got another phone call she had to take. Holly told Maggie that her off-screen meeting with Nicole went well, but she still planned to stay at a hostel rather of going home with Nicole tonight. That would give Holly further time to work through her feelings since she was seeing Nicole again hereafter. At the Paris apartment on Friday's day's occasion, Chad Dimara dithered on Abigail Demara's marriage idea. Since Chad allowed they should tie the knot again in front of their children and other loved bones, he sounded eager to stay. Still, Abigail claimed she wanted recollections to go with the passions she had now. After Abigail suggested she had a hunch this form would help her flash back everything, Chad caved in. Once Chad transferred Abigail off with a credit card to buy a marriage dress, he got a phone call from Steve Johnson. At the cafe, Abigail called Mark Green to deliver some news, so Holly described her near and looked surprised as well as puzzled. Back in Salem, Sarah Kyriakis shut down Eric Brady's proposition of Fiona Cook being behind the wheel, so Eric explained how he'd drawn that conclusion and apologized. Once Sarah was alone, she allowed back to Eric's words and eventually flashed back Fiona had indeed been the one driving that night. Sarah looked affrighted as she realized Eric's proposition was right after all. At the Dimara Manse on Friday's Days of Our Lives show, Xander Cook pushed Kristen Dimara to go ahead and hand over the palsy cure, since Sarah told E.J. Dimara she wanted to renounce her statement. Xander played that over and didn't mention E.J.'s turn down to let her. Kristen got suspicious and tried to call E.J. for evidence, so Xander snared the phone down from her. After Xander admitted E.J. was determined to take Brady down, he prayed Kristen to give him the serum anyway. Kristen claimed a deal was a deal and that she wasn't running a charity. Unless Xander could ensure Brady's freedom, Kristen wouldn't be surrendering the palsy cure. Xander seized Kristen and hovered her by suggesting Rachel Black might evaporate from the playground. Still, Kristen advised that she'd make Dar if Xander touched a hair on Rachel's head. Wilhelm Rolf vanished for good. Once Xander met up with Maggie, he told her about the serum and Kristen's turndown to hand it over. In the city forecourt on Friday's day's occasion, Sophia ran into Fiona and told her all about the rearmost developments in her love life. Fiona ultimately put it together that Sophia had gotten in the middle of Tate and Holly's relationship. Once Fiona said Holly lived with her, she explained that Maggie's son was married to her son. Sophia suggested it was a small world and mentioned commodity about the martini Fiona ordered at the bistro. Fiona suddenly turned all menacing and stressed that Sophia could no way mention that drink to anyone. Sophia sounded freaked out as Fiona seized her and forced her to swear she wouldn't unmask. Once Fiona felt certain Sophia would keep her mouth shut, she took off. Sophia murmured cuts under her breath before meeting up with Tate and playing up how awful it was that Holly was in Paris. Sophia acted like she was happy about wholly conceivably reconnecting with Nicole. However, Sophia suggested that she'd have Tate all to herself if Holly decided to stay in Paris. Back at the Kyriakis Manse on Friday's day's occasion, Sarah was still reeling over her memory of Fiona being the megakit and run motorist. When Fiona walked in, Sarah goggled at her for a dramatic thriller moment. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Sarah and Fiona have a major battle coming up so stay tuned. Days of Our Lives preview week of October 14, Mark crashes, Chad's marriage, fake Abby exposed, and Fiona pushes Sarah downstairs. Days of Our Lives spoilers exercise videotape for the week of October 14 to 18 reveals that some stunning scenes are coming up. Days of Our Lives daily promo promises two dramatic conclusions as two different stories take center stage. For starters, Sarah Kyriakis will defy Fiona Cook about being the mega hit and run motorist. After Sarah insists she knows it was Fiona, she'll voice how shocked she's over her mama. In Law's Deception, Fiona will declare that she's not a monster, but her conduct will prove else as she putatively starts wheeling Sarah toward the off-spring staircase. You're about to have a terrible accident. Fiona snaps in Day's daily exercise videotape as Sarah frenetically clings to the doorway. The good news is Xander Cook may show up just in time to save Sarah. The bad news is Xander will have to deal with the desolation of everything his mama has done, so their bond will break each over again. Over with Brady Black, Eric Brady will help him figure out Fiona placed him in the motorist's seat that night. The mystification pieces will eventually come together, so Sarah and Xander will make another drive for Brady's freedom latterly. In Paris, Day's spoilers say J.J. Devereaux will show up to officiate Abigail Demira and Chad Demira's marriage. Days of Our Lives suckers will see J.J. embrace Abigail and admit he's so happy to have her back. Holly Jonas will also serve as Abigail's maid of honor, but Mark Green will ale the fests when he shows up fortified and ready to carry out Clyde Weston's orders. Meanwhile, Steve Johnson and Kayla Johnson will get evidence that the woman posing as Abby isn't the real deal. Kayla may score evidence that Mark changed the DNA test since she'll reach out to Chad with the verity. Despite Kayla's sweats to call and text Chad, he won't be checking his phone due to all the marriage fun. Chad will be thrown for a circle when Mark arrives and points a gun at him, but fake Abigail will contend this is going too far. Day's daily exercise videotape shows Abigail diving in front of Chad, and a pow can be heard as the promo wraps up. Could Mark inadvertently shoot his own family? Anyhow, Abigail will survive all the chaos and have a chance to explain everything to her youngish siblings ultimately. You Can Go Felicity Green and Aaron Green will reel over the updates that are still to come. Days of Our Lives spoilers say some jaw-dropping moments are on the way, so we'll bring you more prognostications on the competitions and marvels. Thanks for watching these videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.